What's up, guys? Welcome back. In today's video, we're going to talk about priorities. In the game, if you've never seen this video series or whatever you want to call it that I've done before, I basically talk about all the different things you can be focused on. I yell squirrel at you because you can get distracted by a squirrel running by and start focusing on something else. So the goal of this video is to try to show you what I'm focusing on. That doesn't necessarily mean the same thing that you should necessarily be focused on. My true hope is that you seeing kind of some of the plans and thoughts that I'm doing, that maybe that can be a sort of catalyst for you to decide, you know what, I like that idea, I want to focus on that, or maybe this team's my focus. So I kind of just go over what I'm working on. I show you the spreadsheet that I've used to do this. I've got a long history of, you know, how long I've been doing it for, if anybody really wants to see kind of how I got from point A to point Z or Y, wherever I'm at this point, double A. And you know, I put that link in the description below so you can see it and check it out if you want, or you can just watch the video and see, you know, kind of what I'm focused on now. And for this one, this is specific to right after the Fantastic Four have kind of been introduced. They're not all in the game yet. We've only got Thing and I guess Namor's not technically Fantastic Four, but you know, he's in that group for the war approach. And you know, we're expecting Human Torch probably next week, I'm thinking, with the Blitz coming. So anyway, I thought it was a good time to talk about priorities and kind of what you might want to focus on with that new team coming to the game. So instead of me yelling squirrel at you, let's get to these priorities and see where we're at. Okay, so what you're going to see behind me is a spreadsheet. I'm going to zoom out in a second so you can kind of get the lay of the land on this thing. But essentially, it's going to be, you know, rows that are, you know, my top priority, 1, 2, 3, 4 through whatever. And then different dates in the columns. So you can see my last YouTube video was on the 6th. I've got it as the 16th, even though it's the 21st. But this is when my priorities change. So I always date when I do the priority change. And then I kind of finalize the specifics of those over the last few days to be able to share with you guys. But the same priorities you see here of what I've been focusing on the last 4 or 5 days. And then on the side here, you'll see something that I call beginners, where it's just kind of like the first things. If you're just starting the game or early in the game, it's always where I kind of leave the beginners thing. And it's really very, very basic. So I don't go through that on every video, but it's there if you want to see it. So let's do the zoom out. And again, so you can see a ton of different colors. We're not going to go through that. It goes on forever. You can see that red, that's when Red Stars started coming to the game. Goes all the way back to almost a year. You know, in 5 days, it'll be a year that I've been doing these priority lists. So got a lot of different priorities out there, and you can, the colors just, I do that so I can kind of see how things ebb and flow over time. They're not really super important. Other than that, it can get very, very confusing. If you really try to focus the colors, it's for me to pop things out. Maybe it helps you, maybe it confuses you. I'm not trying to do that, obviously. Hopefully it's more helpful than not. So let's zoom back in and see kind of where we've been the last week or so. So last week I was farming specific shards. This was before, or I'd say from the 6th, I was farming some specific tunes because we weren't really sure exactly what the Invisible Woman unlock would be. So those were kind of at my top. I had aim security, bruiser, so I was just farming anything I could as far as tunes go. And then I had some shield tunes I was farming. And then I had Fantastic Four gear farm. And then getting Carnage kind of at 7-star was organic / war store. So, and then anything below that, this is kind of my break, so to speak, because you can't focus on everything. The stuff that above this is what I'm actively working on. Stuff below it, I'm just kind of, whatever. So anyway, so let's jump to this week. So, or since the 16th, I should say. So the first thing I've got up here is Invisible Woman unlocked Sinister Six. So right now I'm at 7-star. I'm working on 7-star for Rhino and Vulture. I'm obviously very early on those. I don't know if I'd be able to get those 7-star in time. Maybe I can, maybe I can't. I'm definitely going to be farming them each time in the store. I'm not refreshing either of those stores at this point, mainly because of the ones at 6-star, and we'll get to that in a second. Green Goblin's done. Great, it's not worried about him too much. So my handcuff, I think, is going to be Mysterio. I only bought, I think, one of the offers up front. I didn't buy any orbs or anything like that, so I just wanted to get them unlocked and test them, and I was pretty low, and I'm still pretty low on Sinister Six. You know, I know that at a high level they can kind of beat some, you know, teams that are about their same level. But I just, for me at this level that I'm at, I need to see a, you know, 40k plus punch up in war or in blitz type things for me to really, really invest in a team. If they can't do that, I'm like, all right, I'm going to see if there's another team that can, or bring up something else. So, or maybe make a team like that I know is punching up even more. I'll invest in them because I know they're going to be really good characters. So anyway, Mysterio, Raid Store, you know, that's going to be a hard farm because it's RNG based. I wish there were more slots in that Raid Store. They're not. There's just 3. So I might be refreshing that store a little bit. We'll see. Shocker, I'll definitely be farming him every day. I'll refresh the node until it gets to 100, then stop. Just so I can get done with him. So that's going to be my Invisible Woman, folks. Definitely unlocking her. They're all at 5-star. I'm really hoping for the 6-star. Stretch goal of 7 is probably super unrealistic this time, mainly because of Mysterio. I think I could probably do everyone else but Mysterio. Next up, Alliance War Offense Team, Fantastic Four. This was on there before. Farm bio gear, just because typically that's how it works. They're all bio characters. That's the gear you're going to need. Done pretty good there. The ABCs are really what I'm focused on. So if you're not sure how to farm ABCs, let me show you here real quick. So for farming ABCs, what I specifically do is I just go into a character that I know I need something on, go to them, find the ABC, and I know you guys all know this, or more than likely know this, and then I just scroll over to the side and I just farm them. And you can see I've already farmed some for the day, and that's where I first focus my farm at. I fill those out until I get my cap where this gets to 100, and then for the rest of the day I just wait for my free refills or the natural regeneration of that energy to come back. So that's the gear specific to these guys. So for the stars, I'm not dropping a ton of money on them. You can see I wrote 6 to 7 star. That's all about money at this point. You know, you're not really going to get, you know, those guys further unless you pay money. So, you know, it's on my priority list, but it's not, well, I'm not spending money on them. So gear tier 11 for Thing, gear tier 10 for Namor, and then 9 for these 3. And we'll see kind of how they play out as far as who I'm bringing up further and more. Thing being the one who's likely going to get that Sue Storm special put on him. I want to make sure that he's got a ton of health and, you know, decent resistance armor with his gear and he can survive. So that's why I want to make sure that he's, you know, real beef. He's got a great attack too. So T4s, man, this team needs a lot. So you can see here I talk about, you know, 1900 T4s before I'm even looking at Invisible Woman. It just depends how hard you want to go on these teams. You got to remember this team's probably, at least for now, just a war team. You know, there's the versatility of, you know, that 5th spot. Namor makes him more the war team. So you might still be able to put some other pieces of T4 into this team and have them be successful elsewhere. I think that's still yet to be determined. I want to see what Invisible Woman's T4s are. But this team needs a ton of T4s. So, you know, I'm kind of got some that I'm thinking about, you know, Namor alt, passive, and some others that are decent that you guys can see in my T4 rankings. And that's in a different video. I'm actually going to do another updated one here recently just to talk a little bit more about some of these. And hopefully I'll get that out, you know, sometime in the near future. But and hopefully that can help you guys decide if you're focusing on Fantastic Four, which ones you might want to save for and do. Next up is this, like I mentioned before, these specific characters. You can see I'm only farming 4 now, mainly because I need that energy for the gear. So you can see in game I've got these guys favorited. You know, these are the 4. These first 3, I just left the shield folks up there. I'm not farming them per se unless I have an extra energy, but they're there just because I know that I want to farm them kind of if I have extra campaign energy. So that's the only reason they're up there. And then Shocker, as soon as he gets his node, I'll farm him. And then these other 3. Sniper and Bruiser are nice because they give me the heroes and the villains. Daily reward, and then Security and Assaulter just because I'm trying to build up my aim for whenever they eventually get reworked. So back to the spreadsheet. You get to that break point I mentioned before. The stuff above I'm working on actively. The stuff below, not so much. But you can see I've got the Assault and Operative there. I've unbolded it because it's kind of like, well, I'm not necessarily working on it. Below them, I've got Arena. You know, I had Cyclops on there because I was planning on having my Arena team and saving gear for them.
I know you're not telling me to say something. I'm smarter than you, and I'm going to find out what I want to know, whether you like it or not.
To a cop, the explanation is never that.
You know what I'm getting at, Virgil, the truth.
I think he's just going to be like...
Somebody with power. There was somebody who was capable of tracking us from New York to Los Angeles.
You know the whole time.
If he comes up for anything, he's going to get rid of me.
First thing I learned on the job, you know what it was? How to spot a murderer.
Tell me you got the
I think the Cyclops is going to be the
cripple in there from New York.
Yeah.
He mentioned Kaiser Soze.
Kaiser Soze of Marvel Strike Force.
Who?
I think the Cyclops is going to be the Kaiser Soze of Marvel Strike Force.
After that, my guess is you'll never hear from him again.
It's like, who is he really? Does he exist? Who knows? So we'll see about that. Alliance War, power armor, more gear, stars. Again, money required for some of those guys. They're not really farmable outside of orbs. Wakanda's still just lingering, and then slot machine, RNG, red stars. I've got Mysterio with 6 red stars, but I can't farm them otherwise, other than milestones, and I'm already getting lower on my gold, so I'm gonna be kind of screwed here when the level 75 cap increases. So I don't have enough gold for that, but building up the team best I can until that happens. And that's pretty much it. I've got a gap and then a bunch of stuff that I'm really not working on at all. So Sinister 6 and then the stuff for the campaigns whenever those finally return. So, all right. So hopefully going over that helped you a little bit, shed some light on kind of how I'm doing things, might help you decide what you want to focus on. You know, a lot of stuff in the game, things can distract you really easily. Goal of this video is to say, you know what, make a plan, stick to the plan the best you can, you know, reference back to the plan. You know, and this plan for me is the one I use, you know, and maybe it's a start for something that you could use too. So as always, appreciate you guys stopping by. You know, please hammer down the like button, click the notification bell, click the subscription button, comment, share with your friends, etc. Just you know, if this content helps you, hopefully it'll help someone else, and you know, getting it out there to the community and others is, you know, always the goal. So appreciate you if you're willing to do that. If not, no big deal either. So again, thanks for coming by, and hope to see you again soon.